Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be a pretty quick one. I'm going to upgrade my winch line from a cable line to a synthetic rope. So with a rope line, you don't need the roller style fairlead that you had with the cable line. You want a nice smooth fairlead like this. This way it keeps the rope from snagging or getting any tears on it. And then of course the main thing you'll need is the rope winch line. So here I ended up going with the Smittybilt synthetic winch rope, and this is just because I have a Smittybilt winch. So I know some people don't like Smittybilt. Personally, I've had no issues with the winch. I haven't really had to use it though, but it had good reviews and I bought it on Amazon, so I'm getting the matching stuff to go with it. So here's the winch I have. It's a Smittybilt X2O 10,000 pound winch, and I got the 10,000 pound Smittybilt rope to go with it. One thing I did like about this winch was that it had a wireless controller, so I could use it either in the Jeep or outside, and it also came with the wired, so if the battery ever died, I have the wire with me, I can plug it in, still use it that way. So first of all, just a few pros and cons between the cable winch line and then the synthetic rope winch line. The big thing with the cable winch lines is they're more resilient. They can rub over rocks, around trees and stuff like that, and they won't fray, or not fray as easily, and break. I'd say the biggest downside to the cable lines are that when they break, they can be very dangerous, whereas the rope lines, they can wear easier when rubbing on stuff. However, if you end up breaking the rope, it doesn't hold a lot of energy, so it'll just kind of drop, and it's not really a danger to anyone around it. Some smaller fringe benefits are the rope's just easier to handle, easier to reel up, easier to take out, where the cable one is a lot more of a pain, and you can easily end up with this rat's nest in there like I have right now. The reason I started with the cable line and not the rope is pretty simple: cost. I think it was about $200 cheaper to go with the cable instead of the rope. So I forget what I spent, maybe around $500 for that at the time, maybe a little less. So I didn't feel like spending the extra money, especially because I wasn't that into off-roading yet and my Jeep was pretty stock. I just wanted to have it for peace of mind. But now that I've built the Jeep up and I'm planning more trips and I'm more likely to use my winch, I just want the ease of the rope and the safety of the rope. As for price with this, the rope was just shy of $300, and the fairlead was, I think, just short of $40. So you're looking at about another $340 right there on top of whatever cost with the winch. So obviously you can save some money going with the cable. So the first thing I need to do here is flip this lever to free spool and just quickly pull out all the cable line. So now that the line's all pulled out, you have this one little screw in here that you need to take out, and then you can remove the line totally. I do want to add a note here that the synthetic rope winch line came with a new screw, and it specifically says not to reuse the screw that is in here. It says to use the new one, or there could be issues. I'm not sure what the issues could be, but just make sure you use the new screw because that's what it says to do. That is a 3/16 Allen wrench. So the next thing I'm going to do is take off this roller fairlead that I have, and it's just 2 bolts, one of these on each side with nuts on the back. And once I get that off, I can put on that new smooth fairlead. Okay, so I took off the old fairlead and mounted the new one. One thing I noticed is with my winch mounting plate, I put this on, and then this lip, the bottom lip of the plate in there, was actually sticking up past the fairlead, and I had a I loosened these again and pushed up on it while I tightened it, and that gave me just enough adjustment where it's pretty much flush now, because the whole point of the fairlead is it's what you want to rub on the rope. You don't want anything with any abrasion on it to just slowly wear down your rope. This is machined aluminum, so it's really smooth and it should not actually hurt the rope at all. Now the next thing to do is to take the end of your rope, feed it through the fairlead, use the provided screw, and attach it there, and then we'll start reeling in the rope, getting a nice tight wrap on the first couple loops, and then you can just start to reel it in pretty good. You don't want to go all at once, because the thing with winches is you don't want them to get too hot and burn up the motors, so you want to give it little breaks in between, do a few feet at a time, and then kind of let it cool down. So I'm going to feed the rope through and attach it with the screw. I'll let you guys watch that, and then I'll stick you on a hyperlapse for the long and boring process of me actually winding up the rope. So what I did there was I put it on, and then I started to tighten it up, and I was kind of checking the rotation of it, and I saw that I had this kind of pointing down, and as it wrapped around, it was then kind of pushing it out really far away for that first start of the wrap. So I came back and I loosened it and I angled it kind of up towards it, so as it goes around, this should keep it really tight on that first wrap. So I'll show you kind of what I'm talking about, and hopefully it works out. Oh yeah, that's gonna be great. So it's sitting right up against there for the first wrap. When I did this the first time, it was kind of pointed out towards there, so it had this big loop. So this is much better, and that's pretty much what you want. So now I'm going to kind of keep tension on this while I'm getting that first wrap, get it nice and tight, and I'm gonna have you guys on a hyperlapse, and I'm just gonna spool up the whole thing very slowly, but hopefully only a few seconds for you. Okay, there it is all wound up. Looks very clean, a lot cleaner than my cable ever looked. And let me just say, that was so easy. I mean, I don't know how many of you guys watching this might have messed with the cable lines before, but man, those are a nightmare. Or at least mine was. Maybe I was just really bad at it. All right, I think this has the potential to be one of my quickest videos ever. I always try and make them kind of short to keep people's attention, but I always feel like I'm cutting out too much information. So I don't know, I think this was a quick and easy thing I did, so hopefully it helped you guys out. So if it did help you out, think about subscribing. At the time of me filming this, I think I'm at like 396 subscribers, so getting real close to 400 subs. I appreciate you guys who keep watching the videos and keep coming back. See you on the next one.